I'm just going to now turn in the direction. We're looking east now. This is the St. Gertrude's. And then down Burstone Street, which is here. And in that direction here, you see the old city. Here we are. This is Dogshus 9 and Dogshus Platz 8. And this also was there was a shul here. The apartment where I stayed, for example, is right next to where the open door is. You can see how it is. Now we're looking up Dogshus Street. Most of the street, Platz, on both sides of the thing, most of the people on both sides here were Jews, and there were synagogues in the further up. And here we're just looking in the other direction of Dogshus today, as it's called. Down at the end there is where the river is, and right off to the left is Schwabe, which was one of the Hebrew gymnasium, the one where Dov Levine, for example. Here we have at 29A Dogshus Platz inside a courtyard. What clearly was a synagogue. The architecture with the high windows is almost always exclusively Jewish. We'll walk around it. This is the same synagogue at 29A Platz of Dogshus today, from the other side. As you can see that it is in part of a courtyard. All these areas there are courtyards where people go in and out. And there are all sorts of walkways between things. This area was almost completely Jewish. It was not a ghetto. This was the house we were just looking at, and it goes out into the street here, which is this Platz. And this is the other end of Dogshus Gas, looking as the members go down in the direction of the city. On the right behind me is St. Gertrude's, or what apparently was Lukshul Gatve before. Most of this area was almost completely Jewish. Here is Mapu Street, named after Avraham Mapu, the great, the first Hebrew novelist, a part of the Haskalah tradition. And again, down this street also were Jews. This is one street west of Platz. And we're going to go down here. There were synagogues on the street as well. And here on Maple Street, it's now number 18, is the public library, which is, again, from the architecture, is very clearly, we know it was a shul as well. And here is the same building, the shul, from the other direction, looking down towards Lukshus or St. Gertrude's. Mapu 18 today, I think it was Mapu 10 then, and the name will be on the list. And here we're looking at the corner of, it's Vilna Gas, number 14, the house in front of us, looking down towards the point where the two meet. And I'm photographing this because in the old city this is also number 14, and since Dov said he lived there, we'll see what happens. We do know, however, that they have changed the numbering system a lot. Okay, here we are downtown. This is the it's called City Hall Square, Rathaus Platz. And there were a lot of offices and things around here, but we're going to come around shortly to what I think is number 4. I only know that because number 2 is plain. And the building for number 4, which is this one here, was the Jewish Office of the Jewish Community Center. Office of the Jewish Community in Vilna up till 1940. And we'll move off to the side so we can see the whole building. Here we're in front of the Schwabe School. This was the Hebrew Gymnasia. Again, happens to be where Dov Levin studied. And where they taught in Hebrew, everything was in Hebrew until the Soviets marched in, when they were forced then to start teaching in Yiddish, which of course made the students angry and everything like that, who continued to speak Hebrew together. But what made life easier, according to a lady who went to school at the same time, who was here yesterday, was that the same teachers, they had the same teachers, except they forced to use Yiddish. And just that we see where we are, this is the road along the Neman River, which used to flood. The reason it doesn't flood anymore looking this direction is the Soviets created a dam east of where we are now, which is the direction we're looking, and basically essentially stopped the flood. We're looking across now towards Alexotas. And now we're moving down to the bridge to Alexotas, which links Kovna and Alexotas, down towards the direction of where the point is, where that past where those churches are there, where the Neres and the Neman meet and go west out into the Baltic Sea. We're just doing, again, a full turn. Here we are again at Schwabe, and that's, again, looking at Schwabe, and the students would go in the entrance, which is in the little, like indentation where there's a sign there which says Palangas Gatve, and the building behind it wasn't there. There was just a huge courtyard. Now we're looking down Palangos Gatve, Palangos Street, which was almost entirely Jewish. You can see the condition of how things are today. They simply, in the Soviet period, were not kept up. Now we're looking up Orzheshkenia Street. Now, a little bit up on the left is where the blue stuff is, where the blue synagogue, the choral shul is. And right here, where the sign is here on the left, there was used to be a Jewish lady, a baker, who used to sell these small bagels for, before 1940 for about, you got about 30 for 1 lit, which was a lot of money. Now, if we move over to the yellow-looking building on the other side, that was where Der Stimme was published. That was the publishing house of Der Stimme, which was one of the Yiddish newspapers here, which was a rather important one. Just to give, again, a perspective, here we are looking up at Leish Allee, and a lot of these shops on the sides here were owned by Jews. I was told yesterday whom by by what. And we're looking down. This would be again towards the where Vilna would start off in this direction straight. Here was the Reali school with a huge complex with even buildings behind. The students were in front, and the all sorts of like rectors, whatever meetings and teachers' rooms were behind. And money apparently came for this, according to Yudel Rondo, from all over the world. Today it's a music school. No sign, no one knows anything what's going on here. And here, oddly enough, the restaurant that I ate in about 4 or 5 times but didn't know, this was number 76, Laishves Ale, which was where the office of the Central Bank, the Jewish Bank of Lithuania was. And interestingly, right behind it, we're going to go through a little courtyard here where the archives is, and the archives is the building here where the Hausman Shul was. And here we are looking at the archives, and the courtyard goes around here. The building in the back is the original Hausman building. It still stands. It's been covered, but that's it. And here we can see this first floor here was in fact where the shul was, in that basement, so it seems. And we can see actually the building doesn't go to the very front, but this here is the house in Kovna where Sugihara lived and where he gave visas to the Jews. The Jews would come here?
Yes, the Jews came here.
Yeah. Let's take it from the side. In 1939-1940, the building housed the Consulate of Japan. Consul Chiuni Sugihara, a savior of Jews, held his office here. And Jews would come and they would line up here. This is where he worked, in the garden here. Here we're standing in the old Jewish cemetery of Kovna. This area was leveled because they wanted to use this as for apartments. And as Yudel Rondel said, who was the guy up front there, that this is like after an earthquake, you can see